We're in the home of the Gary Freemans here in Muleshoe, and we're talking with their son and his family. And they are Mr. and Mrs. Chad Freeman and their beautiful two daughters. And now, tell me where you live, Chad.
Well, we live down in Lindale, Texas now.
And where is Lindale?
Lindale, Texas is in East Texas. There is a Youth with a Mission base there, and that's where we're currently serving.
And now, is it outside of a larger town that we would know?
It's outside of Tyler, Texas, which is about 90,000 people.
Tyler, Texas. And do you grow roses?
We don't grow them, but you can find them anywhere.
I bet you can. I love Tyler. And now, tell me, Crystal, your maiden name was what?
How?
And so you lived here for how many years?
I moved here as a freshman in high school, so just 4 years.
Uh-huh. And so were you all high school sweethearts?
No, we were not. It wasn't.
How did that come about after high school?
After high school, I came back from my first year at Texas A&M and met him. I knew him in high school. We had classes together and things, but met him at a friend's house over the summer, and that's where we started dating and have been together for 20 years now, almost 21 years.
Oh, I can't believe that. It goes fast, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
And so now, tell me your name.
My name's Zane.
Zane. And how old are you, Zane?
I'm 14 years old.
And now, that would be what grade?
I'm a freshman in high school.
A freshman in high school. And so, what do you enjoy?
I really love soccer a lot.
Oh, that's the going thing, isn't it? So, do you go to school there in Lindale?
No, I'm actually homeschooled.
Oh, you're homeschooled. So, you homeschool both of them?
Yes.
Both of them.
Yes.
And so, now, what is your name?
Avonlea.
And tell me how you spell that.
Avonli.
That is beautiful. And so now, how old are you?
I'm 12 and in 7th grade.
In the 7th grade. And so you're homeschool also?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you enjoy?
I also enjoy soccer.
Both of them enjoy soccer. Well, that is the going sport today in America especially. Now, tell me why you live down in East Texas.
Well, it's a long story, but I'll try to keep it short for you. We are down in East Texas serving with an organization called Youth with a Mission, Tyler, Texas, and it's a missions agency that sends missionaries all over the world. And we had been living in Amarillo for a number of years, and the Lord just was speaking to us, and I'm kind of hard-headed. And so he finally got through my hard head and basically just said, I've given you 3 girls that are ready to go be missionaries. They're waiting on you to say, let's go. And so I came home and told Crystal what I felt, what the Lord was saying, and we prayed and all talked as a family, and that's what we decided to do. And so we're down with Youth with a Mission. We've been there for 5 years, and our passion is just to disciple and train up families for the kingdom of heaven.
And so it's the whole family, or just teenagers, or young people, or what age?
Well, Youth with a Mission disciples people from 18 years old to 80 years old. But what we feel like God is asking our family to do is to disciple the entire family, which is sons, daughters, mothers, and fathers together. Mm-hmm.
And so now, Crystal, what did you think about this move? You had an income, and you had a home base in Amarillo, is that right?
Yes, we owned a house and a business and had lived there for 15 or 16 years, so it was home.
Well, were you ready to go, or were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared. We had felt for a couple of years that God was asking us to do something, and we just didn't know what it was. So whenever Chad came home and said, I feel like this is what the Lord has said, it made 100% sense to me, and the first words out of my mouth were, okay, let's go. So, I mean, it was definitely like we had to sell our house and we'd gotten out of our business and we had to say goodbye to friends and a church family that we loved and that had grown us up in the Lord. And it was not easy, but we knew that it's what we were supposed to be doing. So it wasn't scary. Yeah.
And so now, how do you really act as a missionary to the people you are befriending?
There's a couple of things that we do. We feel like God has called our family specifically to disciple families of the United States, but we also very much have a heart for international missions. And so as a family, we travel around the world. Also, we've been to Germany and Uganda and Guatemala and some other places. But then also, the Lord has just said, the United States was set apart as a city on a hill for the rest of the world to look at and to follow. And we believe that families are the foundation of our nation. And so if families are walking with a mindset of how to advance the kingdom of God, then that's just going to meet every other aspect of our society, I guess. If we start with families that are really serving the Lord, it's going to change our education system and our political system and our stores, and it's just going to change everything. And so if we can strengthen the families of our nation becomes stronger, and then when other nations look at us, they see a nation that actually glorifies the Lord.
Well, now, youth with a mission, to me, that's young people, but it's not. And why don't you change the name?
Well, we would, except that's the name the Lord gave the founder in the 60s was Youth with a Mission, and that really is a focus for them, is the age group like 18 to 35, because they have such a energy and a zeal for the Lord. But we have over 18,000 full-time missionaries around the world, ranging in age literally from newborn to 90, or possibly even older than that, I'm not sure. So their focus is on the youth, but yeah, it's young at heart. That's what Chad said.
Now, how old were you when you moved from Amarillo?
How old was I? I was 9 years old.
And so what did you think about this?
My dad came home and told me, and I was ready to go. Yes, of course. Why wouldn't I? So.
Really? Uh-huh. Well, that's wonderful. They were behind you.
Yes, and whenever I was telling them that this is what I felt we needed to do as a family, I was hoping that Crystal or Zane or Avonlea would be like, no, we don't want to go, because frankly, I was scared because I didn't know what the future held. What does it look like for our family?
You're the breadwinner.
Right. Yeah. And so I knew that's what we needed to do as a family, but I didn't know how we were going to do it. I didn't know what the next step was going to be.
Now, did you already know about Youth with a Mission?
We did. There was a young lady that had gone to our home church in Amarillo, and she would come and share stories about her traveling all over the world with Youth with a Mission. And so we knew a little, but not a lot.
But now, are they based out of Tyler?
Youth with a Mission has multiple bases throughout the world. So I think they have 110 bases scattered throughout the world.
No, we have 1,100 bases. Sorry, I got to correct that. 1,100 bases in 180 nations.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we were called to YWAM Tyler. We did our training, our missions training there, and then traveled and came back and just really felt like the Lord was saying, okay, because we didn't know if we were going to be missionaries in Africa or what that was going to look like. And we just kept asking God, what do you want for us? Where do you want us? And he finally got a hold of us again and got through my hard head and said, you know what? The United States is a nation too, and they need me just as much as anyone else. And so he called us into the families to just really come alongside them, love on them, support them, and just try to educate them in who God is and how he wants us to live.
Well, now, how do you do this?
We do it through multiple ways. We do family camps where we invite families from all over the world, all over the U.S. to come and spend 7 days with us, 6 or 7 days with us at the YWAM campus.
And where is that?
And that's in the Lindale area. It's out in the country, basically, but they have some acreage there that they've built the base and developed the base. And so they'll come there for 3 or 4 days, and we'll just train them. We'll do games. We'll do lots of fun things for the family. And
Now, are you the director then of this?
Yes, ma'am. And so we do that, and then we go on an outreach for 3 days with the families. We'll go to either inner city Dallas, or we'll go to Houston and some other areas where we just minister to people on the streets or serve in homeless shelters or food pantries or whatever we can, just to try to be the hands and feet of the Lord.
Now, what do you think about all this?
I love it. I enjoy every part of it. I enjoy like the new people that I get to meet and the places I get to go. It's really cool.
Where's the coolest place that you've been?
I would have to say probably Uganda. It was,
Why Uganda?
oh, well, I don't know. I loved the people and I loved everything about it. It was so, I don't know. It was so cool.
That's neat. Your family is homeschooled, so therefore you don't have to worry about that part. So you can go year round to other countries. Is that right?
That's exactly right. The girls were both enrolled in public schools the first year we were with Youth with a Mission, and they missed all of their absentee days.
Yeah, I had to go to truancy court and say, sorry, we're missionaries. Because she had missed her maximum amount of absent days before you had to go before the school board or whatever. And so at that point we were like, well, God has really called us to do this and we need to be able to do that. And so it's great. I mean, I don't think they could get a better education than to go share Jesus with people around the world.
Now, speaking of school, you went to school in Muleshoe. Did you graduate from Muleshoe High School?
Yes, in 95.
That's why I married her.
Why?
Because she was a Muleshoe graduate.
And so, who were your parents?
Bob and Marvon Rafe.
And your mother died. Now, were they living here when she died?
Mm-hmm. It was my sophomore year. I was 20. So, sophomore year of college.
In college.
Yes.
And so did you get to finish college?
Yes. I started out at Texas A&M, and then random circumstances took me to West Texas A&M in Canyon, and that's where I graduated.
And so then what about your stepfather?
He's in Lubbock now, living in Lubbock with his wife.
I see. And of course, your parents have been here forever?
For a long time. You know, people say, where are you from? I said, well, I was born and raised in Muleshoe, Texas. And yeah, it's funny. We've traveled all over the world, and people ask me that question, you know, hey, where are you from? And I'll say, I'm from Muleshoe, Texas. And I guarantee you there's more people in this world that have been to this place than you would ever imagine. We are dumbfounded about how many people know Muleshoe or know people who live in Muleshoe or have some sort of story that's connected.
And so what year did you graduate?
1994.
So you all were just a year apart.
Yes, we were. Mm-hmm.
And so when did you get married?
We got married May of 1996. No, 1998. You need to go back and rewind that.
And
Let me get another take on that one. It was May of 1998.
Good job, honey.
Thank you.
And so now tell me, you had your business in Amarillo.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were established in Amarillo.
Yes, ma'am.
And you thought that you were always probably going to be in West Texas or at least Amarillo based.
Yeah.
And did you need to find another job?
Well, it was a huge leap. I knew at that point, if we had decided to really go and be missionaries, I knew that we were going to have to live on the 100% support of our friends and family. So with Youth with a Mission, to volunteer and be a missionary, you have to be supported by friends and family. And I didn't, or churches, you know, and I didn't know how to make that leap. Everything in me and in us as a family was derived from working hard, making a living, and using those resources to.
Now, where had you gone to school after Muleshoe High School?
I went to South Plains Junior College and got my associate's degree in commercial art and graphic design.
And so your business was what in Amarillo?
It was a small advertising company, but I would say our bread and butter was website design and development. Mm-hmm.
Was it lucrative?
It was. The Lord was so good to us. Grew our business. We had probably over 100 clients there in the Amarillo area, and we were blessed. I mean, we were blessed, but it was hard. It was difficult. And like Crystal said, we knew something was coming up. We felt something, a change was coming, but we couldn't put our finger on it. And so to make that transition, it was very concerning to me, just because I didn't know what that kind of a life was going to look like.
Well, sure. That was very, very different from the life you'd been living.
Oh, absolutely. And anything I'd ever known, just mom and dad, working hard and providing for my brother and I here in Muleshoe. That's just what I knew. I was raised with the mentality of, we're going to go to school, we're going to go to college, we're going to get a job, and we're going to provide for the family. We're going to work hard. And whenever the Lord led us to this change in our lives, it was challenging pretty much everything I knew.
Yeah. And the way you had been reared, and that's the way most people live. But that wasn't what you were being called for.
It wasn't. And to me, that's the hope that I want to help instill into families is, yes, it's hard. And sometimes we get disappointed in jobs and we may get laid off or, challenges come in life. But if we don't have the foundation built in Jesus Christ, then it gets really, it's very detrimental to the family. And so we just feel like we want to come alongside families and just love on them and point them to Jesus.
Now, do you do it through a church, though?
We don't. We pick up the phone. We use the relationships that God builds around us to spread the word. We get in our little minivan and travel around to different churches and share what God's put on our heart for missions and for families. We do connect maybe with other churches who maybe hear our story and just want us to come and share, or that they see the value in the family and they want to grow that family and see families really thrive. And so at whatever level, we just want to come alongside and support whoever it is to just meet families where they are in life. And I think that's where we want to come from is yes, we'll travel the world and meet families in Africa or Germany. But here in the U.S., families are so busy with life and working very, very hard. We just want to bring some encouragement with that.
So where is the place that you have traveled to outside of the United States that was most challenging to mission to?
Germany, for sure.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They are a very hard-working people that are very focused on the task at hand. And so it was a little bit hard to come into that and say, hey, take your eyes off of what you're focusing on right now and let us talk to you about the Lord. But God was really good to open up doors there. It was kind of a weird trip. We were there for 3 months, and sitting in the airport at DFW, we got an email. We were fixing to leave to go to Germany. We got an email that a bunch of our plans had fallen through, and so we were just left with a month of no plans. And so it was a little stressful because, you're going on supporters' dollars, and you want to make sure that you're honoring that and doing what you said you were going to do, and so we wanted to be about the Lord's business, and yet everything that we had planned had just canceled. And so for the first week, we were like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And we tried to make all these connections, and 3 different people on 3 different continents, which is crazy. Somebody in Asia, somebody in Germany, and somebody in the United States within 24 hours all said, like via email, why don't you guys consider a vacation with a mission? And of course, the first time we were like, we're not here for vacation. No. The second time we thought, well, that's really weird that they would have said that. And then the third time when I got the email from our friends in Asia, I was like, okay, this is just too weird. So we said, okay, God, we're just going to go about this as if we were here on vacation. What would we do? Well, maybe we would go to the lake. So we went to the lake, and God opened up an incredible opportunity to minister to a family through a really difficult situation in their life. And then we said, okay, well, if we were on vacation, maybe we would go to the park. And so we were at the park, and I got to talk to a lady from Croatia. And then oddly enough, met her 3 more times in Germany throughout that 3 months, and just got to continue the conversation with her. And so God was really faithful to come through, to be able to meet them where they were, even though it was probably the hardest culture to share the gospel in. Wouldn't you say so? Yeah.
Now, are you surprised, looking back at your life of growing up, where did you come from to Muleshoe?
From Panhandle, which is just north of Amarillo.
And are you surprised where you are today?
1,000% yes. Absolutely.
Are you?
Oh, I agree, 1,000%. I'm surprised. A lot of times I roll out of bed and I'm still surprised, of the change in life and what we get to do with the Lord. It's very exciting, very encouraging. But at the same time, YWAM Tyler has never had a family ministry, and so we're pioneering something brand new. And with that has come some discouragement and challenge.
Sure. Now, this is something that I want to ask the girls. Are you sorry the life you're living? Are you really, really happy about the life you're living?
I mean, I'm like, I wouldn't choose a different lifestyle, like I love being homeschooled and being able to have relationships that I can carry on, like, through, like, with Jesus, you know what I'm saying? So, like, when I meet somebody, it's not just, like, a friend-to-friend relationship, but Jesus also comes in, and, like, I've made several friends, like, going on outreach and stuff, and, like...
Now, what do you mean outreach, going on outreach?
Like going to different parts of the world and just ministering to those people. But like the people that I've met there, I've really had a strong relationship somehow, but it's obviously Jesus, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like without Jesus, I wouldn't have quite that relationship, So, yeah, I wouldn't change it for any... No.
Okay, now, I'm not going to ask you the same question. That isn't fair, is it? How would you talk to another 12-year-old about your friend Jesus?
Well, I would probably just first just start out with a regular conversation and about what do they like to do or whatever, and then slowly get into have they ever heard about Jesus, or do they have a church or anything, and then just have a regular conversation, not make it too personal or something, but just to...
Have you ever had that conversation?
Yes, I have. I enjoy it so much. After those conversations, I just get so excited, and I've had a lot. I enjoy it a lot.
Avonlea is the evangelist of the family. Avonlea is the evangelist of the family. She's probably almost led more people to the Lord than any of the rest of us have.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
When they were both
isn't that what Jesus said? Isn't that what we're all supposed to be as little children?
Oh, man, they fuel our faith like no other. We were like, okay, what would Zane and Avonlea do? Okay, here we go. Let's go do that. But when they were in public schools, that first year when we came to Youth with a Mission, Avonlea.
Oh, they went to public school that first
year. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had forgotten about that. Yeah.
And Avonlea had this friend, and they would just have these conversations out on the playground as they were swinging. And one day that friend asked her, who Jesus was. And Avonlea was able to introduce Jesus to this young girl, and she got saved right there on the playground. And so missions goes around the world, but it also happens on the playground in our hometown, And she came home and shared that to us, and man, we just cried. It was like, this is so beautiful.
Didn't that make you feel wonderful?
Yes, I was so shocked.
Well, we have been talking with the Chad Freeman family, and they're visiting here in Muleshoe with his parents, Betty and Gary Freeman. And so I understand your parents are retired.
They are both officially retired, so who knows what they're going to do and where they're going to go, but now they're free to do whatever that is.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? And we thank you both, and we encourage you both. And there may be some people who are listening to this interview and would like to somehow contribute or know more about your Youth for a Mission program. So tell us how.
Sure. There's a couple of different ways. You can reach us by phone, and that phone number, it goes to Chad's phone, and it's area code 903-780-8108. Or you can email us at chad.freeman@ywamtyler.org.
And now spell YWAM.
YWAM is YWAM Tyler.org.
Now go back over the email.
Okay, it's Chad dot, like the period, Freeman at YWAMTyler.org.
Thank you so much, Crystal.
You're welcome.